OpenAI is not taking a day off. Today, March 17th, they just released two new models, GPT-5.4 Mini and GPT-5.4 Nano. And honestly, the timing is kind of wild because GPT-5.4 itself launched less than 2 weeks ago, which itself dropped just a couple of days after GPT-5.3. At this point, OpenAI is shipping so fast it feels like a new model every time you refresh your feed. So let's just go through what these two actually are and what they can do and who they are for. So the first question is, why does a smaller model even exist when you already have the full thing? And the answer is pretty straightforward. Accuracy isn't always the bottleneck. If you're running something like a customer service chatbot, answering the same 200 questions all day, you don't need a model that scored best on PhD level chemistry exams. What you need is something fast and cheap that doesn't make you wait. That's the whole point here. These models are built for that kind of workload, where latency directly shapes the product experience. Coding assistants that need to feel responsive, sub-agents that quickly complete supporting tasks, computers using systems that capture and interpret screenshots, and multimodal applications that can reason over images in real time. So it's not about being a stripped down version of the flagship model, it's about being purpose-built for a specific class of work. Before we continue, we just launched the Universe of AI newsletter. If you want to stay on top of AI news without having to hunt for it, link is in the description. Don't miss out. OpenAI's blog leads with GPT-5.4 Mini, so let's start there. GPT-5.4 Mini significantly improves over GPT-5 Mini across coding, reasoning, multimodal understanding, and tool use while running more than 2 times faster. It also approaches the performance of the larger GPT-5.4 model on several evaluations, including the Software Engineering Bench Pro and Oswald Verified. The last part is the important bit because not just that it's faster, but the gap between Mini and the full model has genuinely gotten narrow. On Software Engineering Bench Pro, which tests real-world software engineering tasks, GPT-5.4 Mini scored 54.4% compared to the flagship model, which sits at 57.7%. That's a pretty small gap for a model that costs a fraction of the price and runs at a way higher speed. And on OS World Verified, which is about a model actually operating a desktop, like reading a screenshot and clicking things, Mini hit 72.1% compared to the flagship's 75%. Both of them actually clear the human baseline of 72.4%, which is a detail worth sitting with for a second. A small model, not even the full flagship, is performing above the human baseline or added on desktop navigation tasks. That's where we are right now. The blog also goes into coding workflows specifically, and this is where Mini gets interesting for a lot of people. The models handle targeted edits, code-based navigation, front-end generation, and debugging loops with low latency, making them a strong fit for coding tasks that need to be completed at faster speeds and lower costs. And the blog mentions something that's a pretty smart architectural pattern. In Codex, for example, a larger model like GPT-5.4 can handle planning, coordination, and final judgment, while delegating to GPT-5.4 Mini sub-agents that handle narrow subtasks in parallel, like searching a codebase, reviewing a large file, or processing supporting documents. So instead of burning the expensive flagship model on every single step of a workflow, you use it as the brain and let Mini do the legwork. In Codex, Mini only consumes 30% of the GPT-5.4 quota, which for anyone running coding workflows at a scale is a really significant cost difference. On reasoning specifically, on the graduate level GPQA Diamond reasoning test, Mini scores 88% compared to the full model, which sits at 93%. Again, it's not identical, but honestly not far off for a model that's this much faster and cheaper. The blog also talks about multimodal and computer use being a real strength of Mini. It can quickly interpret dense UI screenshots, which matters a lot for AI agents that are actually doing things on your computer rather than just generating text. Now let's talk about GPT-5.4 Nano, which is the smaller of the two. Nano is the smallest, cheapest version of GPT-5.4 for tasks where speed and cost matter most. OpenAI recommends it for classification, data extraction, ranking, and coding sub-agents that handle simpler supporting tasks. The blog is pretty direct about what Nano is and what it's not for. This is not a model you throw a complex reasoning problem at. Nano scores 52.39% on Software Engineering Bench Pro and 46.3% on Terminal Bench 2.0, which is lower than the Mini, but still a meaningful improvement over the previous Nano class models. And on OS World, the desktop navigation test, Nano comes in at 39%, So you definitely wouldn't use it for anything that needs to actually navigate interfaces, but that's not what it's designed for. It's designed for pipelines that run massive volumes of simple, structured tasks. Think, you have a system that's processing thousands of documents, classifying them, extracting fields, routing things. That's where Nano would make sense. The pricing makes that pretty clear as well. Mini is priced at 75 cents per million input tokens and $4.50 per million output tokens. Nano is even cheaper at 20 cents per million input tokens and $1.25 per million output tokens. And just to put that in context, the full GPT 5.4 runs at $2.50 for input and $15 per output per million tokens. So Nano is about 12 times cheaper on output than the flagship. For any workflow that's running a high volume or lightweight task, the math on that is pretty compelling. The blog also includes some early feedback from enterprise customers who tested both models. Hebbia, which models AI tools for finance, law, and research document analysis, said GPT 5.4 Mini match or outperformed competitive models on output quality and citation recall at a lower cost, and they actually saw higher end-to-end pass rates and stronger source attribution than they got from the larger GPT 5.4 in similar workflows, which is kind of insane. A company specifically saying Mini outperformed the full model on their own use case. Notion's AI engineering lead also pointed to a meaningful shift. Smaller models like Mini and Nano can now navigate agentic tool calling reliably, which was previously a capability mostly limited to bigger, slower premium models. That's a real shift again. It means you can start building more capable agents without having to route everything through the expensive model. On availability, GPT 5.4 Mini is available today in ChatGPT, Codex, and OpenAI's API. Free and Go users can find it under the thinking option, while paid users will see it as a fallback when they hit rate limits on GPT 5.4 thinking. Nano, on the other hand, is only API for now. OpenAI is clearly positioning it as a developer infrastructure rather than a consumer product. So the bigger picture here is that OpenAI is actively pushing developers toward a tiered model architecture. Use the big model when you genuinely need it, and let smaller models handle everything else. And as Mini and Nano keep improving, the list of things that actually require the full flagship keeps getting shorter. That's interesting to watch because it means the cost of running serious AI system is going to keep dropping, even as the capabilities go up. And I've been seeing some similar tweets like the one I'm showing right now, but basically it's showing that you're telling me I paid for GPT-5 when I could have just waited 6 months and got the same thing in a Mini. The most powerful AI on earth 6 months ago is now a budget model. They basically just told everyone who bought GPT-5 that they were beta testers. And this is a sentiment a lot of people are sharing right now. The frustration makes sense on the surface. You pay for the flagship, and a few months later something cheaper shows up that's nearly as capable. But it's worth being clear about what Mini actually is. It doesn't fully match GPT 5.4. On Software Engineering Bench Pro, it scores 54.4% versus 57.7% on the full model, and on the GPQA, a similar story. It's close, but the full model is still ahead on complex reasoning and hard problem solving. Mini is purpose-built for speed and cost efficiency. It's a different tool for a different workload. It's not a replacement model. And the broader pattern here isn't unique to OpenAI. This is just how the AI industry is moving right now. Capabilities that required the biggest, most expensive model 6 months ago are now being packed into smaller, faster, cheaper packages. That cycle is only going to keep accelerating. Whether that's a good thing or a frustrating thing probably depends on which side of the pricing table you're sitting on, but worth noting as well. But that's it for today's video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, subscribe to our newsletter, follow Universe of AI on Twitter, and follow our main channel World of AI as well. I'll see you guys in the next one.